Hey guys, how you doing? It has been a long time since I made a regular video out here in the shop, but I am still alive. It's cold. I'm out here in the shop having coffee. Not a whole lot has changed. Just working on the Jeep. Got a bunch of projects on that today. Nothing major, just some stuff I've been putting off. Hope you're doing well. Today, just finished changing the differential fluid in the back. I did the transfer case and transmission fluid as well. Then in the process of that, I discovered the bigger project of the day. I'll be repairing this Crossmember. Off-roading last year, just kept pounding this throughout the day, or throughout the summer, every time I went out. So I took my skid plate off to change the fluid, and I knew it was bent, but I didn't know it was tore like this. And that's one of my skid plate mounting bolts. So we're gonna pull the cross member. I'll attempt to pound it back into shape as best I can, and probably weld a brace in here to prevent that, or maybe make it like a little skid plate on the outside so that it doesn't happen again. Future projects, I would like to build a skid plate for the clutch and brake linkage. They're pretty prone to getting hit as well. I also have a grease fitting that's broken off here. Just a lot of stuff that took a beating last summer that I haven't addressed yet. So skid plate's off right now. It's all bent up. I gotta straighten that out. I want to build another cross member for the skid plate that comes over here, because it does always get pushed up into my exhaust. So nothing major, just a lot of little things like that. Another thing I'm going to address today is my front drive shaft. The skid plate covers most of it, but this drive shaft is wore out. I don't know if you can see the play in that joint. It's actually not too bad. It doesn't look too bad. There we go. When those start getting loose like that, they're a lot more prone to breaking. So I have a good used drive shaft. We'll pull this one out. I'm going to put new U-joints in the new one, and then throw this one behind the seat or in the back of the truck as a spare. When I get used drive shafts, I never throw them out, because you never know when you need an end or a set of splines. So I've got I've got drive shafts hidden all over out here. This is a stock CJ2A drive shaft for a 3-speed. So you can see with the 4-speed it's a little short, but this is I don't even know what this is out of. Something bigger. But this is the perfect length. I just found this in my spare parts pile. So I'm going to pull it apart. The splines are super tight on this one, which is good. And we'll clean it up and throw some new U-joints in it. And that'll be a perfect replacement, and then I'll have a spare as well. So stick around. I'm going to just do some maintenance out here. Nothing too detailed, but wanted to check in with you guys, and now it's getting warmer. I'm more motivated to get out here and get some work done. So I'm going to kick on the heater, probably put on some time lapse, and get this show on the road. All right, got it out. Got the transmission supported. So here's the damage. It looks pretty bad, but I mean, look at how this thing is built. That's probably like, I don't know, not even 12 gauge. That's probably like 14 or 16 gauge sheet metal. So it tore right at the hole. I mean, it took a beating. If you have a stock 2A, that's what this cross member came out of, but I've modified it quite a bit for the T18 4-speed. So I notched this out, plated it there, and plated it there. So I should have done that on this side as well. So I think we're going to pound this out, and I'm going to weld in a piece, not exactly like that, but something similar, and hope that that doesn't happen again, or doesn't happen as badly. So there it is. Look at all this sand. This was from Southington Off-Road Park out in Ohio over the last 2 summers. They have some sand dunes out there. I hate sand. It gets in everything and ruins stuff. So I'm gonna take this outside and get rid of all that junk, and then bring it back in and start beating that side back out to how it's supposed to be. Well, slowly making progress. I got it pushed out quite a ways. It bent it in so many different directions. I had to cut it here because the pieces were overlapping, and it's shoved that way. I knew I wouldn't be able to get it out in both directions, so I just cut that. And I got to bring this edge out to here and try to, I don't know if you can see that, that's dented in there as well. Just get it out as close as I can, because I do need to make a hole here where the mount bolt was. You can kind of see where it's supposed to be. So it's a mess, but we're making progress. Well, I got it pretty close. That's about as good as I'm gonna get. I can live with it. So I brought this edge out. I'm gonna weld that up, clean up that hole, and got this edge fairly straight, so I'm gonna cut this piece, and it's just gonna go across there to kind of strengthen that up, and I'll clamp that and bend it a little bit as I go. It should be good as new. There's nothing really in here that you have to get to as far as covering up any bolts or anything. You don't want to plate it down here unless you cut access holes for the transmission. So I sold my press last summer because we were trying to get cleaned out to move, and I'm still here because my press would have been really handy for this. I used to love that thing for straightening sheet metal. But don't despair if you don't have a big fancy shop, which I definitely don't. This is just a cheap little vise my neighbor gave me when he moved. I definitely want to get a bigger one, but even with a small one you can really do a lot of work. But these are my go-to straighteners. Big hammers, adjustable wrenches work great for because you can pinch down on the metal and you have a nice big handle to put some leverage on it. Solid steel rods to get in and really put some shock on stuff. And then this little anvil made from a piece of railroad track is great. It just you know, is an anvil, so it works good to beat on stuff. And then I have some blocks of aluminum and copper and other metals depending on what you're working on. And then just having random stuff around to clamp to. Like I use this hunk of aluminum to space that out for the vise to give it something to push on. That kind of stuff. You can do a lot of work. I'm not a body guy, obviously. This is just carnage repair, but basic tools, lots of hammers, and you can do quite a bit of work. I want to take a minute to say goodbye to my trusty Harbor Freight angle grinder. I will never buy an expensive angle grinder. I will just keep buying these. I think this was back when they had the coupon. I paid like $10 for this. I've had it 7 years and I have beat the crap out of this. All this stuff, like those light bars and stuff I make, this thing has made me so much money. I can't even believe it. So I will never buy a fancy DeWalt or Makita or Milwaukee angle grinder. $10. In that time, one of the switch wires melted off. I soldered it back on, and it went for like 4 more years. So the brushes and the motor are finally shot. But for $10, man, you can't beat this thing. So I'm gonna see if I can borrow my neighbor's grinder to finish cutting this, weld this in, and get it back in place. And then next time I'm at Harbor Freight, buying another one of those. So don't waste your money, especially if you're just a DIYer like me. Those things work really well. I should have done a before and after picture, but nothing fancy. Just welded that plate over there, welded the crack on both sides, and got it as straight as I could. So now we can put some paint on it. back in the Jeep. And as my granddad used to say, it's good enough for the women we hang out with. But that's not really true for me because my wife's a national treasure. So I better hire a certified welder next time. Alright, so put this in there. Alright, it's all done. Crossmember's back in. Skid plate's in. Looks much better. That's where the big rip was. So she's all ready to go. We're gonna be doing a little Jeep ride here pretty soon. Fluids are all changed. The only thing I have left to do is the front diff. So I gotta pick up the fluid for that. And she's ready to rock and roll. If you follow me on Instagram, you know about the tire test I've been doing. If you don't, you should check it out. The NDT tires get all kinds of hate on Instagram, so I bought another set of tires. In here, I'll show you. And these little guys, I've been taking them on and off, doing some comparison with a modern radial tire. These are side-by-side tires. They're off-road use only, but they're the most aggressive 32x10 I could find. So follow me on Instagram. That's Red Eye Cafe Moto. I'll put the link in the description. That's just been easier and quicker for me to post little 1-minute videos here and there. I'll try to post some better testing videos once I do more, but please check me out on there. I update that a lot more daily usually, and I'll continue as weather gets better and we start doing more Jeep stuff. I'll start posting more on YouTube too. But thanks for watching, and keep the comments coming. I appreciate you guys sticking around with me. I'll try to do a drive shaft video here in the next couple days, put new U-joints in that drive shaft and a few other things. So thanks for watching. Now I got a mess to clean up, and we'll catch you later.